key numbers for the men's 100-meter backstroke. Aaron Pearsall set the record in Indianapolis, 51.94. Michael Phelps, the fastest qualifier, will be in lane 4. Now, for the casual observer, they would think, boy, what's going through Michael Phelps's mind? Does he want to make a big splash? Sorry for the pun, but does he really want to bounce back? But you got to put everything in context. It's about the season, it's about the training, it's about getting ready at the right time.
And there's only so much the mind can do when the body's torn down so much, Paul.
Let's set the field for this men's 100-meter backstroke. Chris DeYoung will be in lane 1, personal best 55.16, swam at the University of Michigan. Now lives in Chicago. He started a swim school, has 500 kids, so he's back in the pool. He lives in Chicago, right? Land of Northwestern, where his kids train. But he calls his swim club Big Blue. Eugene Godso will be in lane 2. Vytautas Janušaitis out of Lithuania will be in lane 3. The two-time Olympian. There is Phelps.
It's actually the 12th fastest ever in this event and the 5th fastest American. So even though he doesn't swim it much, he's still very, very good in it.
And separating Phelps from Ryan Lochte will be a real up-and-coming star headed for Stanford University, David Nolan.
Maybe the most highly recruited senior in high school for the last generation.
That's saying a lot. And there is Ryan Lochte. Gold medal in the 200-meter backstroke in Beijing. 3 gold medals, a silver and 2 bronze on his Olympic resume. Guillermo Guido out of Brazil will be in lane 7. And from Great Britain, Simon Burnett will be at the top of the pool.
Well, you get Lochte, back to Lochte for just a second. He was out in 28.6 in the prelims. Came back in 27.5, and Phelps, on the other hand, was 27.5, 27.5, so he pretty much even split the race. This is going to be very interesting. I want to see what Michael does and how he swims, especially this first 50, whether he attacks it. He didn't attack that 200 fly. He didn't go out for it, and it's real hard to come back on a race like that, even for a Michael Phelps. But when you're tired, Paul, there's not much you can do when the body's torn down so much. And I'm not making excuses for Michael whatsoever. But these swimmers, a lot of them are torn down, and some of them can come through that and swim better than others.
But if anybody has ever set the bar high, maybe too high, it's Michael Phelps.
And that's part of the problem.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But if you're Michael Phelps, not a bad problem to have. Most dominant swimmer in the history of the sport. Middle of the pool, fastest qualifier, Michael Phelps in lane 4. Nolan, the youngster, headed for Stanford in lane 5. Ryan Lochte in lane 6.
There's Phelps right there. Right above him is Nolan, and there's Ryan Lochte, who will have a superb second 50. I like the way Nolan's kind of hanging in there with these 2 superstars. Phelps is looking much better here.
Michael Phelps attacking. Lead over Ryan Lochte, Nolan between them. And Michael Phelps is going to pull away and win this 100-meter backstroke. Phelps wins it in 54.15.
I have seen Michael swim angry before. He swam angry there, at least to me. He swam with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, saying, not this time. I might have messed up in the 200 butterfly, but I'm not going to mess up here. He was really aggressive that second 50. And when he was shaved, by the way, in Indy at the Grand Prix last month, he's only a hundredth of a second slower than he went at the Grand Prix a month ago. So he really, once again, it shows you what the mind can do in the sport of swimming. He really swam with a lot of heart there. And watch the replay here. You react with the legs. He does a much better job of coming up underwater. You see him right there and doing a great dolphin kick. Actually, Nolan really beat him coming off the blocks. Nolan, the high school senior. But watch that beautiful stroke. So good at settling into a comfortable body position right away. Great stroke tempo, great rate, rotation of the shoulders, and nice body line. Watch the body line as he keeps going into the wall. A really good back half for Michael Phelps, and something that I was really expecting out of Ryan Lochte. And even though he did have a great back half, Phelps was unbelievable that second 50.
Michael, thanks so much for spending some time with us. Tough race, and you really attacked this 100 a little bit of a carryover training-wise with respect to the 200 you swam earlier?
You know, there's really not much to say about that race. The 200 was something I had coming, I think, for a while. You know, you can really only get past with not doing enough training for so long, and you know, I think I've reached my end. So, you know, as in terms of that, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I know that. And I wanted to come out here and just race this 100 back as hard as I could, and just try to keep everything in the pool.
Well, what was the difference between that 200 fly? Because you didn't have a lot of time, Michael, between the 200 fly and the 100 back. What did you say to yourself to come in here and attack this race like you did?
Really, I mean, the biggest thing is just getting in the water and racing as hard as I can. And I'm still in pain from that 200 fly, and a lot of pain, actually. I don't know if I felt like that after racing a long time. So I know I didn't have much time, so I try to put that behind me and move on. And that's the only thing I can do right now. Is that race is in the past, and I need to try to build off that as much as I can.
So what do you do now, Michael, between now and Shanghai? What's in store for you as far as training? What do you have to do to get back on top at the end of the summer?
The biggest thing is with my 200s, I'm not finishing it like I used to, and you know, that's a problem, especially with how everyone's swimming right now in the world. You know, I have the front half, I have the speed, that's fine, but you know, I think it's still a lack of training to be able to finish a 200 like I should be, and like I know I can.
Well, that was a great race there, buddy. Nice job.
Thanks, Roddy.
Michael, thanks so much for your time. Phelps comes back to win the 100-meter backstroke, and very interesting and very honest self-assessment. The training that has not been done and the work that will be done, not only between now and this summer's World Championships, but also on to the Olympic Games. Back with more racing right after this short timeout.